Chicago, a monument to grit, imagination, fortitude, and promise. It is a quintessentially American place, gleaming and bold, proud and loyal, and flawed by racial and economic divides, by class and neighborhood. Chicago's L runs around the clock, and the city's mayor of 6 months, Rahm Emanuel, seems to move around the city with as much momentum. Glad-handing and strong-arming along the way, he's attempting to span the city's divisions in a time of crisis.
Look who's here!
We caught up with him at a firehouse near the Loop.
Chicago is in some ways Dickensian, that sort of tale of two cities. You see spectacular buildings downtown and neighborhoods that aren't so far away that
are miles apart.
Yeah.
So far, I'm trying to give them a sense that we all belong together. We have differences, north side, south side, west side, and the central, but we're one city.
He was an aide to Bill Clinton, denizen of his campaign war room, a congressman, and White House chief of staff to Barack Obama. Yes, that Rahm Emanuel, he of the sharp elbows and famously foul mouth.
This is a tough holiday for Rahm Emanuel because he's not used to saying the word day after mother.
Legend has it, he once sent a dead fish to a political opponent. He slammed doors and his enemies. But the Rahm who is mayor of Chicago seems different. Dare we say, a kinder, gentler Rahm.
Nice to meet you. How's it going? Where are you guys from?
And so far, he seems to be enjoying a honeymoon.
Okay.
Are you a little surprised at how well you've been received, even in the short term?
You know, as I said to the president once, you know, they're all waving with all 5 fingers up. I'll know when things change.
But the city of big shoulders and its mayor have a lot to bear. A budget deficit of $600 million, billions of dollars in underfunded pensions, and neighborhoods rife with violence.
Another extremely violent weekend.
Homicide rates in Chicago are far higher than in New York or Los Angeles.
There's only one problem gives me pause. Never, the fiscal ones, financial ones, do not give me pause.
What gives you pause?
Harry, you go around sometimes, kids are growing up in an environment in parts of the city that you wouldn't let your own kids grow up in. There's no sense of life, and there's an emptiness in their eyes that you don't know if you can change. And they can see downtown, and yet for them it's miles and miles away. And I don't ever want a city that for some of our children, they don't think they're part of that. And I don't know whether I have the ability to affect that.
What year are you?
To that end, Emanuel is in the process of making good on a campaign pledge to lengthen the school day for Chicago public school students by 90 minutes.
This better not be breakfast.
You're one of a few schools in the city that's now having a longer school day. It may not make us the most popular people in this classroom right now, but that's okay.
The move to lengthen the school day led to a highly charged incident with Karen Lewis, the head of the Chicago Teachers Union. Lewis contends the mayor's plan is not about education, it's all about lowering crime rates and keeping kids off the streets.
You said to him, so this is about what?
Babysitting and warehousing.
And how did he react?
He cussed me out.
Did he come out of his seat, or were you
Yeah,
seated?
he stood up. He stood up. He stood up and cussed me out.
So what did he say?
He was extremely rude. Let's just say that.
Your famous temper was not left in Washington.
First of all, the meeting you're talking about, we hugged at the end. And it was about what we should, about a very important subject. How do we make sure the kids of the city of Chicago get the education they deserve? I talked about this in the campaign. I am following through on everything I said I was going to do. I am going to be as tough as it requires to get those kids the length of day and the length of year that their competitors in Shanghai, Boston, New York, Houston, Los Angeles, Paris, and Berlin get. And the kids of Chicago are not going to be shortchanged on my watch if I have something to do about it.
How are you, man?
All right.
Call it the Emanuel way, Rahm 2.0. His critics insist, though, with Mayor Emanuel, there's little compromise. It's his way or the highway. Carol Maureen is political editor of NBC5 Chicago and columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times.
Part of the complaint about Emmanuel is he's found the people who are on his page and isn't talking enough to the people who are not on his page.
Do people feel like he's doing a good job?
I think people feel that he is working very hard, and what they've seen so far, many of them like.
We watched as he dashed through city schools, addressed the city's business elite, attacking his job with a kind of vigor that leaves aides breathless. And at one point, even got the best of our crew trying to keep up.
Watch it, man.
He is constantly moving and thinking. At this restaurant, he didn't stop for food.
We'll keep supporting you. You keep supporting us.
It's human contact that seems to feed the mayor.
Have a good breakfast.
Emmanuel lost part of his right middle finger slicing meat during a summer job at an Arby's.
As a result of this, this rendered him practically mute.
And amazingly to some, this famously profane political tough guy studied ballet.
What is it about studying dance that would be helpful to you as being mayor?
Well, all right, you really want to know?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, discipline. You can't be a dancer and not have discipline. And you can't succeed in politics, in my view, if you're not disciplined and driven. Second, dance is about space and how to design it. And politics somewhat has a choreography to it.
When it comes to the personal space of his family, though, for such a public persona, Emmanuel is ferociously private. His wife, Amy Rule, shuns the political life, focusing on raising their son and 2 daughters. Even the rough and tumble of Chicago politics seems almost civilized compared to Washington.
And does the president envy you?
When we talk, I don't think envy comes across. He has a great job. He knows it. He has a very important thing to do. I think he's happy that, and proud that I'm mayor. And we remain very, very dear friends.
And as for his own political future?
Just as we've been in Chicago the last couple of days, it's been interesting as we talk to people on the street. And inevitably, people say they think that you're using this to get to someplace else.
No. Not interested.
No higher office.
Done.
Not Rahm Emanuel, first Jewish president.
Not interested. Not going to do it. No. I'll do it in Hebrew. Lo. Not going to do it, okay? Not happening.
This is going to be in the story.
I don't care.
And 10 years from now or 4 years from now when you're running, this will run over and over and over.
It won't
again.
happen, so don't worry about it.
Never going to happen.
Not. What part of it is that I'm not getting across? Here, give me a piece of paper. I'll sign it. Not interested.
I think that'll come as a surprise to some people.
I don't care. Maybe you all got your profiles wrong. You ever thought of that?